Kinship. Let us first discuss on introduction. Kinship is one of the important aspects of social structure and one of the basic principles for organizing individuals into social groups, category, and genealogy. In anthropology, kinship system includes people related through the bond of marriage and birth. Marriage establishes social recognition of copulation, which is the basic need of life. Kinship is the social recognition of the biological ties of marriage and birth, and all those who are related to each other through these bonds are known as kins, as distinguished from non-kins, who may be related to each other through other ways. Regarding the types of kins, it can be said that the body of kin who are recognized by one man will be different from those recognized by any other. The kindred are the individual's world of kins and cannot form a continuing element in the structure of society. It is simply the total of kins who are genealogically linked and have common obligations. Broadly, there are two types of kins. Number one, affinal kins and consanguineal kins. Affinal kins, people who are related to each other through marital relationships are called affinal kins or affines. Affinal kins are not related through the bond of blood. The kind of bond between spouses and their relatives on either sides which arise out of legally defined marital relationship is known as affinal kinship. Consanguineal kins, people who are related to each other by blood are known as consanguineal kins or cognates, and the relationship based on blood ties is called consanguineous, same blood kinship. There are three types of consanguineal kins. They are lineal kins, who are the direct descendants of common progenitors in a vertical line. For instance, grandfather, then father, son, and then grandson. Then number two, siblings, who are the brothers and sisters, that is, the children of the same parent. And next, collateral kins, who are not related in a single line and are related indirectly through a linking relative, such as father's brother or brother's daughter. The definition of kinship cannot rest exclusively on the notion of genealogical connection. It must take account of and be defined by not only the genealogical relationship but also by social relationship. In many societies, the identity of genitor is not posited and seems quite unnecessary. These are societies that posit genealogical connections but ascribe little or no social significance to them. The issue is the necessity and sociological utility of Malinowski's principle of legitimacy and the concept of social kinship of Radcliffe Brown and Malinowski that describes social relations ascribed on the basis of genealogical connection. It means that the role of pater or social father is more important than that of the genitor. Radcliffe Brown mentions that social fatherhood is usually determined by marriage, and so a man who is not married to the genetics of his offspring has no right in respect of them as their genitor. And if the genitrix is married to another man, that man is entitled to claim the offspring as his own for any and all social purposes. Here, it is mentionable that a husband can acquire two men rights over his wife. Rights in uxorem and rights in genetrism. Rights in uxorem are rights over a woman who consider as exclusive sexual and domestic partner. Then rights in genetrism are rights over a woman's reproductive capacity as a mother regardless of their presumed paternity. Among the Nuers of Africa, a remarkable kind of consanguine relationship is established through which a child belongs to the lineage of the man who holds the rights in genetrism over its genetrix, whether or not he is presumed to be the genitor. In many cases, proxy fathers are created through ghost marriage, as the Nuers believe that every man has a right to marry and establish his own line of descent. But sometimes a young man dies before his marriage, or a man has no son. Then it is the duty of the nearest kinsman to marry a wife to his name. The children of this marriage will be considered as that man's children, and a kinsman will have to make a ghost marriage. A ghost family consists of the ghost, that is pater, his wife, their children, and the kinsman, that is genitor. Among the Meitei of India, there is a kinship system having a peculiar kind of agnatic pulse known as Sairuktinaba. The Meitei has 7 exogamous patrilineal clans which are again divided into lineages and sublineages. Sairuktinaba groups are not included in these divisions of descent groups. It points to the common reference of different descent groups because of rights in genetrism to an ancestor. For instance, Pakhangba, the mighty king who belonged to the Ningthauja clan while taking asylum in Moirang, became the conjugal father of two sons, Mungyang Zaoba and Tangkrup Lumyiba, whose mother was Yunam and pater was Mungyang Zhao, who belonged to Moirang Ariba clan. The descendants of Mungyang Zaoba became the lineage Mungyangjam, whereas the descendants of Tangkrup Lumyiba became the lineage Loirenjam. Both the lineages belonged to the Kwang group under Moirang Ariba clan and not under Ningthauja clan. But the members of Kwang group and Ningthauja clan are prohibited to intermarry, thereby lingering the incestuous relationship between the two descent groups because of their common apical genitor. This norm of kinship relationship is expressed as Sairuk Dinaba. Now, kinship and descent. In order to know the genealogical connection among the members of a society, it is necessary to distinguish the concept of descent from that of kinship. In kinship system, egocentric systems of social identities and statuses are described, whereas descent system is ancestor-oriented. Portes distinguish between descent and filiation. The former is the relation between a person with his ancestors, among whom the nearest one is a grandparent, while the latter is the relation of a person with his own parents. Whatever it may be, only blood tie is counted in descent system. If descent is traced only in one line, the principle is called unilineal descent, while descent is traced through males exclusively, it is called patrilineal or agnatic. And if it is traced exclusively through females, it is called matrilineal or uterine. In patrilineal descent, a child belongs to the lineage of his father. Because of his relationship through his father, a man has a claim on the productive resources of the lineage not only for his own subsistence, but also for special needs such as the payment for his marriage or payment for compensation for a wrong done by him to a member of another lineage, etc. His rank as a king or noble or commoner is ascribed by his lineage membership. He also has certain obligations by virtue of his memberships in the particular descent group. In matrilineal descent, every person belongs to the lineage of his mother. The Ashanti of Ghana, the Khasi, the Garo of India, etc. have the matrilineal system of consanguinity. Even though a person traces his descent, he has mutual rights and obligation with the kin of other. There is an important matrilateral kin in patrilineal society and of patrilateral kin in a matrilineal society. Lateral means on the side, lineal means in a line. This egocentric category of kin, beyond the descent category of kin, is known as complementary filiation. If the descent is traced in the male line for some purposes and the female line for the other, it is called double unilineal descent. Among the Zako of the Cross River in the east of Nigeria, where this kind of descent is prevalent, a man inherits land property through the patrilineage. And he also inherits livestock and currency, tools, weapons, and household goods in the female line. Another form of descent is bilateral or umbilateral descent that allows a person to choose his descent either in the father line or in the mother line, but not in both lines. The Iban of Borneo, the Maori of New Zealand trace descent through the bilateral system. In simple societies, relationships to ancestors and kin are the basis of group formation. These are the relationships around which social interactions, claims and obligations, loyalties and sentiments turn. Social structures in these societies are structures of relationships of such kin-based groups. In such societies, statuses are ascribed and a man's place in society, his rights and duties, and his claim to property largely depend on genealogical relationships to other members. Thus, loyalties to kin supersede all other loyalties. Kinship is the half of the entire social organism. Psychologically, kinship refers to the feelings of oneness among certain individuals simply because they are of the same blood. The sense of security lies at the fountainhead of kinship. In such kinship, bonds are the most fundamental and original of all bonds. Kinship does not die out in history. It survives in the present era. Even in the modern Western rational societies, kinship ideology pervades most corners of political and public life, perhaps except in the case of the less conservative and more mobile middle classes, among whom kinship is seemingly of little relevance beyond the level of parent-child relationship. And in noble families, The length of genealogy has been a measure of relative prestige. Robin Fox concludes the point while saying, thus, even our relatively kinless society cannot throw off this slowly accumulated, almost innate wisdom of the blood. To conclude, there are differences among human societies in respect of the intensity with which kinship ties are utilized to induce social bonds. No society so far has managed to dispense with an irreducible minimum of kinship based social relationship. However, from the point of the view of the comparative nature of the empirical scientific studies, anthropologists find that even the societies with the least intensity of kinship bonds is not less important than one obsessed with kinship. Anthropology is interested in the comparative study of societies and culture through time and space.